We can be.
We must be.
The generation
most determined
to fight injustice
and inequalities.
The generation that saves the planet from climate.
Done. The global goals.
a 15-year plan. One left behind.
We will live in lives in extreme poverty.
When no
Morning asking if there will be food today.
We will live in a world
Where no child has to die.
Diseases we know how to cure.
And where proper health care
is a lifelong right for us all.
We will live in a world where
everyone goes to school.
and education gives us the knowledge
And skills
For a fulfilling life.
we will live in a world where all girls and all women have equal opportunities to thrive
and be powerful
and safe.
we cannot succeed if half the world is headed back.
We will live in a world
Where all people can get clean water
And proper toilets
At home,
at school
and at work.
We will live in a world where
There is sustainable energy for everyone.
Heat, light.
And power for the whole planet.
Without destroying the planet.
We will live in a world where economies prosper.
and new wealth.
lead to decent jobs.
For everyone.
And we will live in a world where our industry,
our infrastructure and our
best innovations.
Are not just used to make money, but to make all our lives better.
We will live in a world
where prejudices and extremes of inequality are defeated.
Inside our countries.
And between different countries.
where people live in cities and communities
that are safe, progressive,
And support everyone who lives there.
Where we replace
What we consume.
Planet where we put back what we take out of the earth.
We live in a world that is decisively rolling back from climate
change.
where we restore and protect the life in our oceans and seas. Restore
and protect
life on land,
The forests.
Animals.
the earth itself.
with peace between and inside countries.
Where all governments are open.
And answer to us for what they do at home and abroad.
And the justice rules.
with everyone equal before the law.
Where all countries and we their people.
Work together.
Partnerships of all kinds.
To make these goals a reality.
These are the United Nations global goals.
For sustainable development.
Let's get to work.
We can be.
we must be.
The first generation
To end extreme poverty.
To fight injustice
And inequalities.
The generation that saves the planet from climate change.
And this is how it will get done. The global goals.
A 15-year plan
For everyone. Everywhere.
with no one left behind.
We will live in a world
Where nobody
anywhere lives in extreme poverty.
When no one
goes hungry.
Where no one
wakes in the morning
Asking if there will be food today.
we will live in a world where no child has to die.
Diseases we know how to cure.
and where proper health care
Is a lifelong right for us all.
We will live in a world where
everyone goes to school.
and education gives us the knowledge
And skills.
For a fulfilling life.
we will live in a world where all girls and all women have equal opportunities to thrive
and be powerful
and safe.
We cannot succeed if half the world is headed back.
We will live in a world
Where all people can get clean water.
And proper toilets
At home,
at school
and at work.
We will live in a world
Where there is sustainable energy for everyone.
Heat, light.
And power for the whole planet.
Without destroying the planet.
We will live in a world where economies prosper.
And new wealth.
lead to decent jobs.
For everyone.
And we will live in a world where our industry,
our infrastructure and our
Best innovations.
Are not just used to make money, but to make all our lives better.
We will live in a world
Where prejudices and extremes of inequality are defeated.
Inside our countries.
And between different countries.
where people live in cities and communities
that are safe, progressive,
And support everyone who lives there.
Where we replace
What we consume.
Planet where we put back what we take out of the earth.
We live in a world that is decisively rolling back from climate
change.
where we restore and protect the life in our oceans and seas. Restore
and protect
life on land,
The forests.
Animals.
the earth itself.
with peace between and inside countries.
Where all governments are open.
and answer to us for what they do at home and abroad.
And the justice rules.
With everyone equal before the law.
Where all countries and we their people
Work together.
Partnerships of all kinds.
To make these goals a reality.
These are the United Nations global goals
For sustainable development.
Let's get to work.
Yes, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everyone. Depending on your time zone, wherever you're joining us from this very day. Please, I need to confirm if you can hear me. Type in the chat that you can hear me loud and clear. So, good day to you. That's Sami from Botswana. Gideon Dunio, I see you there. Esther, good after. Oh, you can hear me clearly. Fantastic. Thank you very much. I see that Deborah Moyeni from Nigeria, Raymond from Ghana, Ibrahim Hambali, and Sifura from Kenya. Greetings to you. Of course. You know, it's been a long time coming, right? So I do expect that right about now, we shouldn't be making some corrections again. What's going on with, your names? Why they not properly renamed? Or is it because we've not had a live session in like 2, 3 weeks now? That's why you seem to have forgotten the usual. What's going on? So it means that this evening, I would make a shout out to those that are properly renamed. And that's I can see Babai from Uganda. I see Sami Bizeng from Botswana, Rebecca from DR Congo. Yes, I see Raymond from Ghana, Sipura from Kenya, Eunice from Kenya also. Yes, who's there again? Yeah, Mohammed Hadam from Nigeria. Asib Muriel from Cameroon. Asib Deborah Moyeni from Nigeria. Also, Caroline from Nigeria. Karim Karim. Mrs. Sarah, all from Nigeria. And yes, you other participants too that are not named accordingly as you're supposed to be named. Yeah, I see
can be.
We must be
the first generation
Determined
to fight injustice
That saves the planet from climate change.
And this is how it will get done. The global goals
A 15-year plan
for everyone, everywhere.
With no one left behind.
We will live in a world
Where nobody
Anywhere.
lives in extreme poverty.
Be food today.
we will live in a world where no child
and where proper health
We will live in a world where
Everyone
goes to school
and education
for a fulfilling life.
where all girls and all women have
we will leave
Get clean water.
and proper toilets
at home, at school, and at work. We will live in a world where there is sustainable energy for everyone, heat, light, and power for the whole planet.
without
a world where economies prosper.
And new wealth.
lead to decent jobs,
For everyone.
And we will live in a world
where our industry
our infrastructure and our
Best innovations.
Are not just used to make money, but to make all our lives better.
we live in a world
where prejudices and extremes of inequality
Are between different countries.
that are safe
Of the earth.
We live in a world that is decisively rolling back from
climate change.
where we restore and protect the life in our oceans and seas. The earth itself.
Science.
Okay. So you should be able to hear me now. So sorry for that, guys. That was networking my way. I just got cut off for like 2 minutes there. So sorry, so sorry, so sorry. So yes, you can hear me now, like thank you very much, Mercy. Thank you very much. And so sorry everyone for that break. It wasn't intended. That was network on her way. Yes, thank you very much, Charlotte. I see you there. So, how's it been? How's the journey been? Thank you very much for welcoming me back, Mohammed. How's it been for you? Share your experience in the chat. What has been going on with your sections this past 2, 3 weeks? Please share with me. I love to know what you have been up to this past few days. What have you had to learn on the previous sections? Because this evening I'm promising you that we are having an amazing section. In fact, I do not just want to street talk you into this, but I can assure you, of course, I know you all have seen the flyer, right? You've seen who we have in the building this evening. So, of course, I can promise you that it's really going to be an amazing session here today. But before that, I just want to know, what has it been like? What has the past few weeks been? What have you learned? Can you share your learning experiences with us? Well, if there are also some challenges you want to communicate to, it is not bad also if you want to share all of that with us now before we go into the section for this evening. Yes, I can see the charts. I still see that you all are dropping greetings to each other. Yeah. Okay, no problems, no problems. We will just go on straight into the business for this evening. Of course, because our speaker this evening is someone who has a very tight schedule. Of course, we are very grateful that he's able to share even this moment with us to be on this call this evening. And of course, we want to maximize the time that is offering to us to go right into the business that we have here this evening. So like every other week, we'll be looking into another fantastic topic today. Of course, and I know it is one that each and every one of you will be interested in. Yes, I can assure you that I am sure of. For a while now, we've been learning on several focus areas of sustainable development. So definitely today we are trying to look into another aspect, which is on professional development. And while we are looking at professional development, we want to be very specific about positioning for global opportunities. And because of this, we have brought to you this evening an expert, in fact, a highly respected person in the field, in the subject area of global opportunities, to speak to us this evening. And that is none other person but Dr. Olumuyiwa Igbalajobi. And just before I read the profile of Dr. Igbalajobi to you all this very evening, I just want maybe Dr. Igbalajobi can just say hello to the audience that we have here this very evening.
Thank you so much. Good evening, good morning from Calgary. How are you all today?
Yeah, we're very good. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
It's a pleasure having you with us this evening.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. I want to quickly introduce to us now Dr. Olumuyiwa Igbalajobi, and for you to confirm with us that is just the best person to have on this section this very evening. So, Dr. Olumuyiwa Igbalajobi is a native of F1 Ekiti State, Nigeria, holds a PhD in microbiology from the Karlsruhe Institute of Technology, Germany. He earned a master's degree from the Jeon University in South Korea and a bachelor's of science degree from the University of Ado-Ekiti, Nigeria. His academic journey spans 4 continents: Africa, Asia, Europe, and North America, during which he secured scholarships exceeding $1 million, showcasing his global academic prowess. Having left Nigeria 11 years ago with $100, courtesy of a fully funded scholarship to pursue his master's degree. This experience inspired him to create Scholarships Cafe, a cutting-edge AI predictive platform empowers students to effortlessly discover and apply for scholarships. The platform's impact is profound, reaching users in over 200 countries, fostering over 60,000 success stories, and facilitating over $1 billion in awards and scholarships. Ladies and gentlemen, as an advocate of access and equitable education, his advocacy efforts across the globe has resulted in a few institutions such as University of Texas, Austin, and the University of Alberta waiving the English proficiency test for applications from English-speaking African countries. And just, if you do not know, I guess you're getting to know this very evening, that if you as an English-speaking African national, you are able to apply to some universities today and you have been waived for the proficiency test, we have Dr. Igbalajobi to thank for that effort, especially in University of Texas and University of Alberta. So, ladies and gentlemen, I do not know how you're feeling about this profile now, but if you ask me, I can say definitely that this is a mind-blowing and a very comfortable profile for each and every one. So I think you want to make welcome to Dr. Igbalajobi this very evening as it takes us on the journey of becoming a global person ourselves, and we get to be able to write a profile as worthy as is, especially with our professional development, especially in positioning for global opportunities. So you're very welcome, Dr. Igbalajobi.
Thank you so much once again for having me. It's such a pleasure to talk to a diverse audience today. And I'm just going to share my slide appropriately. I hope you can all see my slide.
Yes. Strategies
okay.
On the scholarships.
Thank you so much. So basically, this is my domain, but some of the things I would talk about would also possibly address fellowships that if you're not interested in, scholarships, you might still benefit. So thank you so much for having me, Mayo and every other person that thought I'm worthy to be here. So my name is Muyiwa Balajabi, and I'm the founder of Scholarships Cafe. And we basically support individuals like you across the globe, to access opportunities. And today, based on the topic that has been given to me, I will work with these specific outlines. And I've been given 60 minutes to talk and 15 minutes for questions. And so I should be able to wrap up within that time. So we'll talk about benefit of scholarships, sources of scholarships, the common myths about scholarships that you must have had in the past, and also like basically strategies to securing scholarships that if you are thinking of getting opportunities abroad, what are the basic things, what are the basic strategies, what are the basic resources, what is the best profile that you need to present? And then the Q&A, the question and answer session, will be up for grab later. So I do love to talk about my story, how I left Nigeria in 2013. And it was because I won a scholarship to study in South Korea and China. And I recall having a senior that reached out to me back in February 2013, asking him if I was interested in studying abroad. And because of the relationship that I have with that person, and this is one of the strategies to also get in positioning yourself for global opportunities like you're here today. There's a way you need to connect with your friends, individuals, this platform that can support you. So do not underestimate the place of connection and introduction. And then she sent me this scholarship links for Korea and China. And I put in the application, and to the glory of God, I won the offer to go to China and Korea. And I decided to select Korea because, it was a better deal. My flight was covered, my tuition was covered, my monthly stipend was covered, my settlement allowance was covered. And, you also get research allowance every month. And when I finished my 1 year of language, I moved to my graduate school, which is at Daejeon University. And afterwards, when I completed my master's, I won 5 fully funded PhD, 3 in China, 1 in South Korea, and the other in Germany. And I decided to take, the leap of faith to Germany because I've spent 3 years in Asia. And then after 3 years and 2 months, I completed my my PhD in Germany, and I moved to Canada in 2020 at the very peak of COVID as a postdoc. I didn't come to study in Canada, I came to work in Canada in one of the best universities, top 32 universities in the world, UBC. You can confirm yourself, and I've been there up till now. And in all this journey, I've accrued scholarship to over $1 million, and I have 0 student loan. And at this, when I look at it, I'm just one out of people like you, one out of millions of students that are looking for scholarships every year. And that was what curated to funding Scholarship Cafe. And basically, we believe every student like you are, or scholars or individuals, applicants, deserve equal access to scholarship opportunities. And that is what come about Scholarships Cafe 4 years ago. And I remember starting on Twitter with 411 followers, and we have over 500,000 followers across social media right now. And we are addressing, 3 basic problems: access, which I'm going to talk about here today, knowledge gap. Majority of you don't even know you are qualified to apply for scholarship. And the third part is support. Like, we offer mentorship, and we provide services in terms of AI tool as well as AI powered tool that helps to help you to visualize your profile. We're currently working on that, and we haven't launched that yet. And so some of our success stories in the past, which I would love to talk to you all today as an evidence, and hopefully in another 6 months, in another 7 months, in another 12 months, you can reach out to me anywhere to say, oh, Dr. Balajabi, I participated at this webinar you did a couple of months ago, and I just want to share your success story with me. Some of these people were like you when I started with them, attending my free webinars. And today, Farida Zakaria is in Canada here, was the first Nigerian that ever won the prestigious Bain Marcos scholarship, and still the only Nigerian. And then, Johnson Alabi won a full ride PhD after his NYSC. He's currently in the US at, University of Missouri, and Joy is in South Korea, just like I met most of these people on social media, and I haven't met them in person. And what I'm telling you today is that there is an opportunity for you, being under this kind of atmosphere, in this setting, in this kind of, this program bringing you all together to tap into opportunities that you may have never thought about. And talking about this, information is power. And so whatever you do with this information today will have a leap, will have a ripple effect on either you want to advance or you decided to just stay where you are, which is pretty now okay. So as an instructor, as a teacher of over 10 years, I love a participatory class. And that is why I'm going to pose a question, and please reply in the chat. Basically, in the scale of 1 to 3, how familiar are you with scholarships, information, or global opportunities? 1, not familiar at all. 2, intermediate. 3, I'm super familiar. So I want to see those numbers. 1, not familiar, you're a novice, you have no idea. Number 2, you're familiar with the international scholarship and how to apply. And number 3, you're an expert. Okay. Fair enough. We have 1, we have 2, we have 3. Okay, this is fairly distributed. Okay, even if you know about scholarships, you've been applying in the past, you might have come across certain situations that might be rejections, can be like you've been applying, you don't even know what is happening, you're tired, you're going through another application, cycle that already started, and some institutions already opened their portal for students to apply for those admissions. But again, maybe there are certain things you need to put in place before you go into the application, cycle. Or you don't even have an idea like me when I was back then in 2013 that I just put in my application using the Nigerian format of CV, which has your name, your gender, your next of kin, your age of kids, your nationality, your religion, your maiden name, and quite a whole lot of irrelevant things. So that you're here today, either you're in 1 or 2 or you're 3, welcome. And we're going to talk about what is scholarships, how do you go about getting scholarships. So just like the Messi, Oyinlola, Sika, some of those people, even with low degree, want scholarship, and it's not a barrier for you if you're here today and you have a low degree and you think it's over, that you cannot win scholarship. So I'm going to walk you through the process, and then if you have questions, please note your questions down so that you can ask after the lecture today. So people do ask me this question, that what are fully funded scholarships? And, oftentimes you come across people crowdfunding on social media to say, oh, I got a full ride scholarship and I could not get money to pay for my flight. And people ask the question, but everything should be inclusive. Like maybe the way I got mine, in about 11 years ago, which I had to leave Nigeria without telling my parents, flying to 22 hours for Korea, because I flew on Emirates airline provided by the Korean government for the first time. And I got to Korea, I got settlement allowance. I wasn't pretty interested in crowdfunding. I left with 16,000 naira, which was $1 to 160 naira then. So fully funded scholarships could either cover tuition. Majority of them would often cover your tuition. Thinking about tuition, when it comes to Canada, you need an average of 45 million naira to actually self-study in Canada. Part of $15,000 out of it is your tuition. So most of those scholarships, if not all, they provide you with tuition, they provide you with health insurance, they provide you with monthly stipend. Additional part could be flight, passport fee, clothing allowance, accommodation, language fee, so that you can focus on your study. So when you think about those type of fully funded scholarship that you want to pursue, you can pursue the one that all-inclusive, Erasmus, Mastercard, Korean government scholarship, the Japanese government scholarship, Chinese government scholarship. And so in China, Chevigny, there is currently on Commonwealth that will open later in the year, the Swiss government scholarship, depending on your own, area of interest. But it's also very important to be very flexible. And we're going to talk about some of the scholarships very soon. So I do love to talk about common myths about scholarships, because some people like you, like myself in the past, would decide to say, maybe we are not actually a scholarship material. But I do say that scholarships are not for people that jumped from the moon down to the surface of the earth. Scholarships are not meant for people that have curated a cure for cancer, nor people that have actually curated a cure for COVID or SARS, or people that have created a cure for the deadliest disease in the world. But scholarships are not meant for strictly geniuses or people that are, aliens or people that are nerds. Because if that is the definition of getting scholarships, someone like me might not fall into that gap. I might speak really well, fluently, but I don't consider myself super smart or exceptionally intelligent. But 4 years ago, when I was in the university back in United in 2010, I remember having, previous to that time, I remember having 4 units carryover course, and I was still able to finish with 3.95 over 5. And these days, when I mentor people, I've mentored over 60,000 people. I see people coming with 4.98 over 5, 3.92 over 4, exceptionally talented. And some of those people in the community might actually not get scholarship because they feel it's all about the CGPA. But no way, it's not just about the CGPA. There are other things that you need to emphasize when you are writing your scholarship application or you're writing your essay that would even help you to be that competitive, even if you have limitations. So, number one, scholarships are not only for exceptional intelligent individuals. There are even scholarships that are provided based on the fact that you're financially constrained. And when you look at some schools in the US, when you want to apply for your scholarship or admission, you will see on their website saying that if financial constraints will be a problem for you to apply for a program, please apply for an application fee waiver, which means that it is not just about you being exceptional. You can also get scholarship if you are not in the top 1%. Yeah, I'm not taking away the place of academic excellence, but because you've had 2-2, because you have a third class, because you have a pass, it doesn't still mean you should rule yourself out. Understand there's a limitation, and then you can work on that, which we'll talk about that very soon. Some people do say fully funded scholarship never exists. I've told you my story. I love to use evidences. This fall 2024, we've supported over 50 people that arrive in the US in different countries. Some are going to South Korea. Some are going to Germany. Some already arrived. Some of them won scholarships. Some of them Mastercard Foundation that, covered their laptop. One of my students arrived in Beirut yesterday. He got a laptop immediately, arrived in the school. The flight was covered, the tuition was covered, the monthly stipend was covered, the clothing allowance, accommodation was covered, which means that yes, fully funded scholarship actually exists. Erasmus Mundus, Mastercard Foundation, Chevening, Commonwealth, the MEST scholarship in Japan, the Korean government scholarship, the Chinese government scholarship, the Swiss government scholarship, the DA scholarship in Germany. All these are all full ride scholarships that provide every support that you need, and you need to focus on your academics. Some people talk about age. Recently, there was a friend on Twitter mentioning how his mom, went back to school and then won the Chevening or the Commonwealth after over 50 years. So if you're here today and you're old, it doesn't mean you can't get scholarships. Yeah, there could be scholarships that put age limitations, like the Turkish government, the Korean government scholarship, the Japanese government scholarship, and a few of all those scholarships, they could have age limitations. But what about applying to countries, applying to professors, applying to groups, applying to organizations that do not even consider age? Because in this part of the world, age, gender, color should not be a barrier for you to attain academic success. And then people talk about tutu. I made a webinar recently, which I recorded and added online. Over 300 people got it. And some of those people that I showed you earlier, you could see some of them won 5 admissions with a tutu. If you're from Nigeria or Africa, tutu is basically a second-class lower division, which is not a second-class upper division that is next to first class. So having a tutu doesn't kind of limit you from getting scholarship if you do not limit yourselves. And there are strategies in place, like even taking the WES evaluation that helps to flush out courses that are not important for your major, and then your CGPA can be improved. And so I would say that someone cannot get a scholarship with a tutu is totally false. And the last part is people say it's impossible to get a scholarship with an HND. Fortunately, I spoke with someone this morning. I can't even remember when we spoke, and it was 2022. The conversation started. It was applying to Germany with to Canada with an HND, and I mentioned Canadian institutions do not recognize people with HND. Rather go to the US. Unfortunately, he arrived in the US, I think 2 days ago in Clemson, all full ride scholarship. So I've also had people in the community that won 6 fully funded direct PhD with an HND, and you don't even need a master's to get PhD scholarship in the US. You can get a direct PhD opportunity because they put so much attention on people that are going to stay for a longer period than just for a short period of masters. So I want you to kind of imagine all those things I've mentioned, that, you know, where do you fall in? You could have a first class, that is good, but is that enough? No way. You have a 2-2, is that the end of the world? No way. You have a top class, is that the end of the world? What can you do better? And we're going to treat that very soon. So I'm going to talk about some of this information that, you know, today you might be privileged to have access, and even so many people in Canada or the US, they don't have access to this. Because when you think about the Canadian system, about 1.7 million students in Canada are owing the student loan, which is about $23 billion. And for someone like me, through Korea to Germany to Canada, I didn't hold a single student loan. And so why is it that these people do not even understand that there's a scholarship in the system? It's because they are so much adapted, or so much kind of as a way of, you know, default, you know, used to getting the student loans. And yet 1 in 20 scholarships, 1 in 20 scholarship on the Scholarships Canada website, they receive no applicant in 2022, because maybe some of them, like you, think scholarship is for the people that descended from the moon, or people that belong to the Stone Age, or people that when they speak so much, wisdom that you cannot even qualify. Or they just think scholarship is a very huge task that they cannot go for. Why not just go for the loan? And think about the US, $100 million in scholarship goes unawarded every year in the US. And it's because people are not aware. And that is why we come in at Scholarships Cafe. And in Germany, most people like you here today do not even know that German education is free. So all you need to get is a proof of fund to go to Germany. And if you have a PhD in Germany and you have a position, you might get pension like me when I was there. And so also, like for Erasmus Mundus scholarship, the EU government, the EU setup, have actually invested over 26.2 billion euro to bring international students to the EU. And in terms of South Korea, where I had my breakthrough of leaving Nigeria for the first time, they set a goal of attracting over 300,000 international students by 2027. And they started doing it because this year, for the first time, they added 1,000 applicants to the previous numbers of applicants they do bring on the Korean government scholarship. Unfortunately, I have 2 people that won the scholarship this year going to South Korea. So from Germany to South Korea, to either part of Europe, Netherlands, Norway, to, you know, Canada to the US, the question is, where do you belong here? Can you also be part of these opportunities that have been untapped in the years? It is not enough to just say, oh, okay, I'm so lazy. You cannot be lazy, because a couple of years ago, there's no platform like Scholarships Cafe that would just every day put out those information out there for you. So now you should even complain about information overload, and you need to save it out properly. Forward, let's talk about the benefit of scholarship, which is something I want you to be inspired about. The first benefit of scholarship is free money. International education is quite expensive. I cannot deceive you or lie. You have to be prepared for it if you want to suffer. And if you're an undergraduate here today, I'm challenging you. The best currency you can give to yourself is to protect your CGPA, is to protect your grades. Because for someone like me with 3.95 to add 1 scholarship across the globe, and I travel across the globe, I didn't pay a dime for my flight ticket, going from Korea to Germany to Canada, you know that there is a tool, there is something that you need to safeguard. You might be distracted, or you might have opportunity to listen to people that tells you, oh, pass would employ people with first class, or grade doesn't matter. Please do just close your eyes to those, close your eyes, close your ears with earbuds to those set of people. Because I've mentored so many people in the past, still talking to so many people. I do not want it to get to that stage. Then you begin to permutate. Oh, which CGPA do I have? Well, how can I get a scholarship with a pass? How can I get a scholarship with a top class? It becomes extremely difficult, because there are several platforms like Scholarships Cafe there right now that before the position is posted, so many people get to apply for this position, and the competition is pretty high. So one of the benefits of scholarship is free money, relax to focus on your study, while the government, either you're in Canada, either you're in Germany, either you're in the US, either you're in Netherlands, either you're in Japan, either you're in South Korea, either you're in China, they all provide scholarship, which we're going to talk about that very soon. The second part is access to quality education. For someone like me that went to the University of Ado-Ekiti, now Ekiti State University, which might not be in the top 10,000 university in the world, apologies, you can confirm, but I'm currently teaching at one of the first 32 universities in the world, which means that scholarships has helped me, has given me that leveler to compete globally without any barrier, without nepotism, without saying he's Yoruba, he's Igbo, he's Tinubu boy, he's obedient boy, he's this and that. So scholarships give you that access to kind of, succeed, kind of compete in an even manner. Either you get a Mastercard Foundation scholarship. Unfortunately, for the Mastercard Foundation scholarship at UBC is going to open on the 30th of August. If you're interested, you can check it out. Or you get it at McGill, or you get it at Harvard, or you get it at the University of Edinburgh in the UK, or you get it at Oxford. Putting out your academic portfolio could help you to get access to this quality education that do not have to be impeded by ASU or NASU strike back home in Nigeria or wherever you are, where you have industrial actions that you don't even know when to graduate. And the third part is the support for indigent students, like I mentioned earlier. If you look at the survey of everybody here today, we might just say we're all indigent students because we can't even afford international education. And you even showcasing your first generation students, you do not have the capacity to pursue international education can be a game changer in your essay, which means that there are scholarships that are often merit-based. There are also scholarships that are financial-based. And another benefit is academic excellence. You are rewarded for, exhibiting a kind of academic prowess, like you maintain a standard. And to keep some of those scholarships, there are limits, there are kind of requirement of you to fulfill every semester as well, which kind of inspire and motivate you to achieve academic heights. Another benefit of international scholarship or opportunities is you having access to expanded opportunities. And I love to use an example. When I was doing my PhD in Germany, I had the opportunity to visit South Korea a year after my PhD to present my research findings, outcomes. And at that conference, I met a whole lot of professors, which eventually in 2022, when I went for a conference in the US, I saw them again. And what I want to kind of talk about is the fact that that conference I attended in 2017, by the time I was applying for postdoc to come to Canada in 2020, I went through the book of abstract of that conference and I saw certain professors I would love to work with in Canada. And that was what brought me to Canada. So you have expanded opportunities, internships, you can have your PhD or master's program in different countries. You can have this partnership that you have to do a part of your program in Germany or part of your program in Australia. And all those things are paid for. For every of these conferences I've attended, I haven't paid a dime for that. It's been covered by my group. So you can also have access to networking and mentorship. Some of those scholarships opportunities come with mentors. That, for instance, if you get a Chevening scholarship, they attach you to a mentor immediately that helps you through the process of your visa application to your arrival in the UK. And also career advancement, you have more PhD opportunities, scholarships abroad compared to masters. And there is tendency for you to switch your fields appropriately without having to be stigmatized in some of our countries. As I say, if you don't have a background in microbiology, you can't do a master's in microbiology. I've mentored people that had a background in microbiology and they got a full ride scholarship for masters in software engineering. So impact and contribution is also something like Mayowa mentioned earlier. I've been in the space of, challenging institutions about systemic racism that had to do with English test. Why should my forefathers be colonized? And then back in high school, I have to pay for speaking vernacular. And then I'm coming to a global community. You're asking me to take the IELTS. It is counterproductive. And when they look at your profile as someone that has benefited from their own system, they want to listen to you because you know them already. So Another part is tourism, especially if you're studying in Europe. It's quite important, work and life balance, that you get opportunities and also discount that comes, as your portfolio as a student, especially if you want to access some places like museum and a lot of things like that. And finally is the path to permanent residency and citizenship. Just within 4 years that I've arrived in Canada, I became a citizen last month. And this is because I had been across the globe and I got my final destination to be in Canada without having to hustle so much. I've decided to focus on my strength, and that is global opportunities, that is scholarships. So having all this benefit as a way, you can have them screen-matched, you can write them down, you can paste them on the wall in your room so that every day you see them, these little things can really inspire you. I do make this example, like when you get scholarships, you just go to the embassy like, dude, I'm here. I'm a scholar. I want to go to your country. You don't get visa refuses. I've never recorded any visa refuses in my life. And in some of these conferences, I remember going to the US in 2022. And it was during COVID, there was no visa slot interview in Canada. And I had to expedite it because I said, I wanted to present a potential research paper in the US, which relates to people living with HIV and AIDS. And I was approved and I got a 10 years visa to the US. In fact, all the American dream I had, I spent only 5 days in the US and I was tired. So if you create a portfolio that mimics what you want, you have a dream. I do say that if you have a dream that is not scary, it's better to go back and sleep so that you can dream of becoming maybe the director of WHO, becoming the director of UN, becoming the director of UNICEF. Those things will help you, especially moving forward, to begin to tailor your goals right and will not allow you to be distracted. So that is very crucial for you to note, especially thinking about, should I apply for scholarships or not? Think about it. If you cannot afford to self-fund, if you cannot afford $45,000 to study in most of these countries, then you can think about a scholarship route. And if you are currently still in school, undergraduate, you have everything within you to make it right for yourself. And if you have left school, there is still a way to go about it, which we'll talk about that very soon. So let's talk about overview of scholarships. Early in the year, I made a 1-hour video on my YouTube about 50 scholarships to look for in 2024. And some of them already came to pass and some of them are still on right now. So you can check Scholarships Cafe on YouTube for that. And I do record videos almost every month. I have Chevany there now. I have a video on how to even answer interview questions. And I have a video on strategies to remain focused, especially when you are a Gen Z and you're on social media, you're being distracted everywhere. Especially if you're applying for scholarship, you have to remain focused. So when you think about scholarships, there are two sources of scholarships. It could come from the institutional part, which the institution provide a master's scholarships or kind of academic excellence scholarship, can also provide an entrance scholarship, or you can provide scholarship in a way that's quite 25%, 50%, and if you're lucky to get one in the UK, you might get £2,000 out of £40,000. So which is quite not a scholarship for my own taste. So thinking about the institution, if you're looking for master's, PhD, or you're looking even for undergraduate scholarship. So if you're in high school and you're looking for undergraduate scholarship, the institution can provide you with scholarship, just like one of our students that recently arrived in Canada, and she won $185,000 scholarship, the presidential scholarship at York University in Canada. So, but there are other scholarships which could be on basis of government, non-for-profit, like the Chevany Scholarship, which is currently on, and it's going to close on the 4th of November. And it covers your tuition, covers your economic travel to and fro from your country, covers an arrival allowance in the UK, the cost of entrance, departure allowance, travel top-up allowance, a monthly stipend as well as provided for you. If you check out my YouTube videos, I even had a dummy essay that I kind of read. So for the Chevany, you will be evaluated on leadership, networking, as well as, basically your plan going back to your own country, as well as, why you want to study in the UK. So you need the 2 years of work experience and being able to quantify these experiences in each capacity and the outcome, not just about saying you have a leadership experience. It's important to tell them at what point did you become a leader? What are the outcomes so far? I built Scholarships Cafe. This is the numbers of students I've supported from 195 countries. This is the outcome of the scholarship they've won, and a whole lot of other things as an example. So you can check out the Chevening Scholarship in the UK if you are in the developmental space, sciences or non-sciences, and you've been able to build a portfolio for the last 2 years. So please check that out on their website, or you can check it on the YouTube page as well. The Global Korean Government Scholarship opens every February to March yearly. I've monitored this since I got the scholarship in 2013. And I do say there's always strategies around this. Every year, more like there are institutions, new institutions that are added and the ones that are removed. And this year, what I did is to have the last 3 years, check it out and put them on ChatGPT. Oh, these are the institutions for the last 3 years. Can you please indicate which are the new institutions? And I think he kind of suggested like 4 institutions. And for those 4 institutions, there are institutions that are not exposed to students, and some of the students were target Ivy Leagues like Yonsei, Seoul National, KAIST, and a whole lot of other. But if you know your limitation, you rather just target institutions that are not that so popular, but they still provide support and research-based institution. So for you to apply for the Korean Government Scholarship, let's say you're applying for next year, I would recommend that you can download the application document for this year. If you go to study.go.kr, you would see the document for this year. Download it, fill it, the personal statement, the reference letter that you need, as well as the courses that you want to do. You can check all the universities, they offer your courses. You can even reach out to those institutions and then reach out to professors that might want to work with you. So if you want to apply for the Korean Government Scholarship, they have 2 basic routes. One is the embassy route. The other one is the institution route. So for the embassy route, you can apply to 3 institutions. For the institution route, you can only apply to 1 institution. You have to send your document to Korea. For the embassy route, you have to submit your documents to your own country's embassy. And for the document part, they do not accept direct document. You have to go to your country Ministry of Education or Foreign Affairs, make sure they attest to the fact that this document is original, and then you take it to the Korean embassy to apostille it, to authenticate it, and then you can submit your document. Okay, the Korean Government Scholarship, it's now offering about 2,200 applicants, and it covers your flight, covers your tuition, covers your stipends, covers your settlement allowance, and most of the time your institution is waiting for you at the airport to pick you to the institution. So you just feel big, and this changed my life entirely. Until today, sometimes I want to wake up from the sleep, because I can't even imagine now being abroad for like 11 years, and I still feel like I'm sleeping. And just like some people that are mental, when they get a scholarship and they get to the US, they feel like, oh my God, is this how education should be? So for this kind of scholarship, you can target it. You can have a list Excel sheet. You can have a diary. I still keep a diary. I write a lot of things down. I have a list of this scholarship against next year so that you can prepare your application document right now. So other opportunities in Korea, you can reach out to professors in Korea, send them a cold email to say you want to work with them. You've seen their profile. They are scattered everywhere. So you can go to the institutional website to check that out. The Mark Bain Scholarship was the one Farida won, and yesterday this one got closed for 2024, 2025. And so you can target it next year as well. They provide $2,000 immediately you arrive in Canada, for you to settle every expenses that you've had. And they also invite you at the last stage of the interview to Canada. They fly you to Canada. They provide you with stipends every month, $2,000 monthly for your semester, which is 4 months, that's $8,000. If you are an international student and you're getting $2,000 a month and you're living in the school's dormitory or hostels, that is more than enough for you to survive. And then you're being attached to a mentor as well to mentor you through the journey. So if you are from a low middle income country, underrepresented, you might want to target this kind of scholarship next year. Most of the time you need an endorsement from your vice chancellor. So if you're a fresh graduate, you need an endorsement from your vice chancellor. And this scholarship is basically on your leadership, exceptional qualities, volunteering in the past. So if you don't have a volunteering skill set right now, I would encourage you to focus on building that. Earlier, I told you, you might have a first class and not get a scholarship because there are other things that are involved, including your leadership, interpersonal skill, your volunteering skill, your community service, your communication skill, and you need to invest in the act of storytelling, letting them understand, because if you don't blow your trumpet, you can't afford to be quiet. So if you're doing something really big in the community, put it on social media, put it in blogs, put it in articles, let people see you, because nobody can tell your story better than you are. So these are quite important for you to get involved in. For the DAD scholarship, is basically for people in every field, just like any other scholarship I've mentioned before, whether you're in sciences, whether you're in non-sciences, you can get the scholarship. And the DAD scholarship covers every field. For masters, you get 934 euro. For PhD, you get 1,200 euro, a flat travel allowance, the health, accident and personal liability insurance, one-off research allowance. Your family is also supported in the way that they can provide, cost reduction for accommodation if you're not living in this school. And to learn the German language, which is quite crucial, you will be supported by the DAD. And then we have the Erasmus Mundus Scholarship for Masters, which opens in October. And, they support almost every field. You can download the catalog, prepare for the next year application cycle, and you can search on Facebook. They have an alumni group. They can also support you through the application process. The Mastercard Foundation Scholarship is one of the best scholarships you could ever think about. They have partnership with different institutions, South Africa, the UK, the US, in Lebanon, and in Canada, which have supported a lot of students that have got into that at UBC. Beirut, we had 2 students from scholarships that got into the American University in Lebanon, in Beirut. We have people in the US, in University of Arizona, Arizona State. In South Africa, we have the Western Cape University that is currently on, and it's going to close on the 30th of August. Because of the time frame, I won't be able to expand on that. We have in Edinburgh in the UK, Oxford, Cambridge. So you can check out the Mastercard Foundation website, and you can see the list of schools they support for undergraduate, also for master's program. And so that is an overview of scholarship. If I will talk about this, could take so much time today. And so there are tons of scholarship out there, even in Kazakhstan, that you can't even think about. They're supporting bringing students on board, even in Thailand, even in Finland, even in Taiwan, even in Japan, even in China. There's a really bulk of scholarships in those countries that when we focus so much on going to the US and Canada, you miss those opportunities, and that could just be your starting point. So today, part of the things I want you to take out is to be flexible in you assessing scholarship opportunities. Why not get multiple offers and decide which one to take out of it? So let's talk about the paucity of scholarships. And when people ask me these questions about how do I get scholarships, I can't even find these scholarships. Have you actually checked the university website? Because on those university pages, they always have a page dedicated to financial aid and funding. So if you haven't checked before, I'm challenging you today to take that step of faith and learn how to communicate with people in the institutions, in the admission office, in the international office, in the graduate office. Those people are being paid to answer your questions. Well, I get so many questions on social media. Someone will say, Dr. Miwa, help us write this institution. No way, you need to do that, because when it comes to global opportunities, either you get a fellowship, either you get a scholarship, either you get a position, you need to know how to engage people properly. You cannot be an introvert and you say you want to get scholarships. You have to be out there, because they want to take exceptional people. They want to take people that will contribute to their community. They want to bring along people that have certain skill sets that their community do not have. Nobody's going to give you opportunities for you to come and party abroad. You have to work for it, because these are taxpayer money. So check the institution website to see what kind of scholarship they offer. This is a typical example of Columbia Journalism School. And if you're interested in data journalism, they offer up to $120,000 scholarship for a master's of 1 year, which you may not even get in Canada. So there are some of these opportunities that are out there that are untapped, and it's your duty to go out there to look for where they are. Another source of scholarship depository is online platforms like Scholarships Cafe, like Opportunity Desk for Africa, like Scholarship Positions. There are quite a whole lot of these platforms. And for some of us, for Scholarships Cafe, if you go there today, visit it right now, you can't even find a single hat because I want people to have a good user experience. And we do not want a situation where there's an ad, it leads you to another third party, your data is stolen. So if you find a scholarship database or website that is asking you to input your credit card details, you want to back up. You want to be very careful. So there are some of those websites like ours that you can subscribe for alerts and you don't even have to pay for it at all. Because I'm an advocate of education equity, I'm not going to put a firewall. So maybe if you want to now go for that to say you want to consult, I'm not clear about this, you want to join the mentorship program, that is a different ballgame. But the information that you need as the currency to develop yourself to actually attract and explore global opportunities are on this website for free. So the question is, what do you do with this information? How hungry, how passionate, how intentional, how deliberate are you using this information properly? So check online scholarship database. Like I mentioned earlier, we would say there are even issues of information overload right now compared to saying you couldn't even get scholarships. So check out online platforms. And one of the most underrated platforms is social media platforms. Like some of you here, you're on Twitter, you're on LinkedIn, you're there for cruise, you're there to drag this person that belongs to the team of Tinubu, you're there to drag this person that belongs to the team of Obedient, while professors are there sharing opportunities, while Chevigny is there sharing opportunities, while scholars are there sharing opportunities. So you need to even have a digital footprint that represents your name. Think about it, that a professor is recruiting students and you can't even make sense of your profile. In details in our masterclass, we treated like, how do you even have a compelling profile on LinkedIn and Twitter so that when you DM people, they can have a sense of, I'm talking to a male person or a female person or other gender, which is not defined. So having your picture on your LinkedIn, which is a profile picture, professional picture, that, like I'm seeing a whole lot of people here, Jeremiah, having a professional picture, it makes sense to have such. Don't just go take a picture at the back of Ojaoba in Efwala in my town and then put it on Twitter, or take a picture that is so blurry, or begin to engage, drag people. You're the one dragging Whiskey FC, you're the one dragging Davido, you're the one you need to focus, you need to have a niche, you need to ensure that you occupy the right platform for you to attract opportunities. You can't be a repeller to opportunities and you say you don't have them. So the digital footprint is important. Follow the right handles, follow the right platforms, follow the right people. Don't just be that person. I retweet, I follow back, Retweet is not an endorsement. Who told you? So even when you're applying for visa, even when you're applying for jobs, they look at your digital footprint to say, who is this person that I want to bring along to my group? Who is this person we want to give a scholarship? Is this person really deserving of it? Everybody talks about freedom of information, but it's not really free, because whatever you say might actually infringe the fundamental human right of the other person, because whatever you say might influence the next decision someone would take. So social media is somewhere you need to use effectively. I've mentored a few students that a conversation that brought them to Canada and the US started from their social media platform. So ensure today, going back, go have a good profile, engage in scholarly information, engage in scholarly talks. When you see an account that wants to drag you, when you see an account that is sharing news, block them or mute them. Even recently, I had to mute Elon Musk because of the political terrain in the US. I just want sanity. I want to come on social media, post scholarship, post my word of God, back out to do my things, affect my generation. I'm not interested in politics. If I want to talk politics, I talk it within my cycle. If I want to talk about sexual orientation, I talk about that within my cycle. There's nothing that is so, disturbing than you putting your belief on other people out there when your belief is even subjective. So be very careful when you use social media and ensure you use that properly. Have a compelling social media, presence, and as well engage professors, scholarship providers, fellowship providers, mentors, seniors properly, so that you can use that effectively. So the last part of what we're going to talk about today, I think second to the last part, is strategies to securing scholarships abroad or global opportunities. And the first thing you need to do is to kind of identify the scholarship. I've mentioned a few. Are there scholarships? Are there professors that can even work with you? I explained this extensively in some of my videos online and some of our master classes. You need to identify, is it Chevening? Is it Erasmus? Is it Commonwealth Share? Is it Commonwealth Scholarship? Is it the KGSPs or the Chinese government scholarship? So list them out, have an Excel sheet, and get to know the eligibility criteria. Do they need IELTS? Do they need TOEFL? Do they need GRE? Do you have to publish a paper? And then identify professors in your field, which I have the videos online on how to go about that. And the second part is to define your research interest. There are more scholarship global opportunities, even short visit for people into research because you're solving a problem. So you need to define your research interest. And, I've always wanted a platform like this to talk to, potential grad students or current undergraduate students on how to define their research interest, because our curriculum might be very difficult to even find and understand. But when you were writing your undergraduate thesis, what is that thing that kind of inspired you? Is it a problem of, Black health? Is it a problem of indigenous law? Is it food security? Is it a problem that has to do with political instability in Gaza or other countries? Is it a problem that has to do with child and maternal health? Is it a problem that has to do with antimicrobial? Is it a problem that has to do with vaccine production? We still do not have a vaccine for the treatment of fungal infection, which is a big gap. So you need to define your research interest, and that would help you to be able to select the right professors. If you're looking for admission in the US and Canada, it is important for you to get a professor acceptance in most of these institutions, and which means that your research interest needs to match with these professors. You can't be generic. Like I've received, emails from people in the field of political science, and they want to work with me, and I'm a microbiologist. It doesn't relate. That is simply means that people wants to jackpot, which for me, it is not the best idea. Fine, I might be in a comfortable place, but nobody's going to give you money to jackpot to come to their country. They would only invest in you. A typical professor that will invest in you for a PhD will spend about maybe 300,000 for the taxpayer money the government has given to that professor. And so you need to be able to show the values that you will add to this group, to the community of scientists, or contribute to knowledge. So you need to define your research interest properly. And the second part is to draft a compelling document starting from your CV. And like I have a video on CV, academic CV, how to write your academic CV, different countries, removing the relevance like your gender, the state of origin, local government, your country, your number of kids, your high school, your kindergarten, your elementary school, and every courses that are not even relevant. Or as a microbiologist, I work with HINEC. There's no way HINEC should be on my CV, except I collected samples from HINEC to analyze. So you need to have that compelling CV, which would showcase your education, your research interest, the research experience, teaching experience, service, leadership, volunteering, languages, references, publications, awards you've won in the past that you've declined. So you can check out my academic CVs almost everywhere. And over 60,000 people had used it and said it worked for them. Your statement of purpose is one part, applying for scholarships, either personal statement. This would detail how your journey has come from the reason why you want to pursue grad school, to the research experience you've had, to the ongoing activities you have, to your volunteering skills, to the reason why you intend to pursue graduate program. And that is why I said you need to make sense out of why you want to go to grad school. So if you're saying 70% of your intention to travel out of the countries to jackpot and just run away, and the 30% is to study, you won't get that scholarship. I'm not an apostle or prophet of doom, but I've been in this journey for 11 years. And we look for the best students that can convey their expertise and attributes, their perspective in a novel manner, which means that you have to be, extra intentional. You have to be deliberate. You have to show that you merit their admission and the scholarship. Over 30 million students apply for scholarships every year. How many of them do get in? Last year, Chevening received 70,000 applications, and they selected less than 2,000. And some of the 2,000 they selected, they had people with a lower credit. and a tutu. And I'm sure there will be several first class that didn't make it, which goes down to the way you are able to convey your story. The reason why I became a microbiologist was because my mom said, I can't become a social scientist, but you will never find that in my essay. I would rather write to say that the discoveries about microbes or infectious disease accumulated into me studying microbiology. And then I will talk about my experiences in the past, my research experience, the skill set I've been able to acquire, my teaching experience. The reason why I want to pursue graduate school is because I want to answer research questions that will contribute to the development of new therapeutic agent for the treatment of fungal infection that destroys over 1 million people yearly. So that is a cogent reason. That is a reasonable, point to put out to say this is the reason. And maybe I've found a professor, I will mention I've found the professor, and then I will impute my leadership experience, how I led several campaigns against, women trafficking and child labor when I was serving in Oyo State a couple of years ago, how I led the first ever blood drive to Ekiti State University with the National Blood Transfusion Service, how I've acted in the capacity of being the first General Secretary of Nigerian Society of Association of Students in South Korea. So you have to take a seat back to okay, I've been applying for scholarship or global opportunities in the past. What has been the problem? It could be the fact that you're short-sighted to understand that nobody gives you scholarships on emotions. You have to show that you have the attribute, the research excellence, the teaching experience if you have it, the grades, the skill set, the leadership that would help you to become part of that community, and they can be proud of bringing you along. Letter of recommendation is one part. No one here today should reach out to me to request for reference letter, because that will be perjury. Your references should come from people that have taught you in 1 or 2 or 3 capacity, either your lecturers that can attest to the fact that you're smart, you're innovative, you're credible, you're intelligent, you're hardworking, you can work as a team, as an individual. In fact, your project was completed within certain period of time. Not you reaching out to me and I said, oh, I met these people on a platform on Twitter and you may give them the scholarship. Nobody's going to give you a scholarship based on just 1 line reference. And it has to be true to whatever you've done in the past. And you need 3 letters of references. And if you have the capacity to get these 3 references from academia, I would always tell you to get it. And then the diversity statement is one part, which most of the time they don't use it anymore. The cold email is the last part, which is basically you sending an unsolicited email to professor telling them you'd like to work with them, or even the scholarship body asking questions about when the next application will open. Contacting a professor is strictly for most countries like Canada, the US, Germany as well, South Korea. You need to get supervisor acceptance because they are the ones that will fund you from their grant and also provide you with mentorship and become your thesis advisor. So if you've been applying for global opportunities or scholarship in the past and you're not seeking out the professors because you think it's not necessary, you need to change your strategy. Even when the institution says you should not, you still need to go ahead and check the profiles of professors in the department that you might want to work with, because when you are writing your statement of purpose, you need to mention at least 3 professors that aligns with your field. You're not just mentioning the name. You need to mention what they're doing and which you could benefit from it. For MBA programs, you don't really need this because these are professional, which is completely different. And at UBC, you need about $160,000 for an MBA program, which in most cases, your company like Samsung, PwC, KPMG are the ones that are supposed to foot the bill for MBA. So if you're looking for fully funded scholarship for MBA, you might have to consider the Korean government scholarship or other scholarship because it's hard to find. And if you think, well, why am I in finance and there is no scholarship for me? Have you considered the intersection of AI in finance and business or forensic accounting? You cannot afford to do the norm that people have been doing and you think someone is going to invest in you and give you a scholarship. You have to do something different. You have to understand the gaps in the field and then the questions that you intend to kind of pursue during your program. And then standardized test is one part. One of the strategies is find some of us have been in the dodging the bullet of institutions, writing them about scholarships, about high LTS that they should waive it, putting our career on the line, there are still some institutions that will not waive this test. And it's your duty as well. If an institution would say they are not waiving the test, you can, find a way to be persuasive. Don't just go to them and say, what you're doing is not good. Why should you not exempt Nigeria? You can be persuasive and let them see reasons why you've actually been trained in English language for over this couple of years, and it is financially draining for you to invest another $350, and you will be glad if they can waive this test for you. At Scholarships Cafe, we are currently compiling list of institutions that are waiving the application fee for 2025. And if you're interested in that, the video should be out maybe next week. Engage with professors in your field. It's very, very important to engage with them on social media, follow them properly, and engage in decent conversation. And the bonus is basically identify support groups, be flexible, work with people that you know that are not destiny extinguishers. They are not people that will be jealous about your growth. Work with a set of people that you are both, comrades in looking for scholarships and global opportunities, and they could share some of those opportunities that even when they don't need it, they are not gatekeepers. For me, what keeps me awake every day is to see people are using Scholarships Cafe across different countries, and the testimonials are just scattered everywhere. I've met people that never in my life have I thought I could have met them. I've heard people talk about me that they don't even know I'm the person. So get to put in your best. Let the system decide, and whichever faith that you have, a Christian, a Muslim, a non-Christian, whatever you believe in, just trust in the process as well. And we have a masterclass coming up in September, and every other package is at Scholarships Cafe. We're on Twitter, we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram. I just shut down my Facebook account because it was distracting for me. So you can connect with us anywhere on LinkedIn. We will powerfully attend to you. And, I've made over 100,000 tweets and scholarships in 4 years. You have no excuse not to be able to attract global opportunities. And I'm just putting it to you. What are you going to do with this information? So thank you so much for having me. And then the floor is open for questions.
Oh, mine. Thank you very much, Dr. Gwala Jobi. While the section was ongoing, I couldn't keep the excitement that we have in the chat to myself. And, I wanted to keep it in, but I wanted to avoid distractions. But, I must say that just like Salaudin Abib said in the comments, this is, a value leading discussion. And I must say that just like Adebayo, just like Chidima here, she said she was so glad that she made it to this section. And of course, there's been a lot of fire emojis on the chat with a lot of clapping reactions, a whole lot of thanks to you for the amazing and wonderful section. It's as though we should not stop here. And of course, I understand how scholarship matters can be. It attracts a lot of questions. So with that, I'm saying right about now, thank you very much for that insight that you've shared with us. In fact, while this was ongoing, myself was motivated to quickly put down something that, in fact, not even just something, a lot of things that resonate well with me, especially as it concerns positioning for global opportunities. So thank you very much for your time. We're very, very grateful, sir. And just so before we go into questions that we have in the chat, I'm so sure that there'll be a lot of questions to be answered here this evening. But I think the first thing I want to mention to our audience is, have you followed Dr. Jobi already, or you're still waiting that all questions get answered live on this section? If you're not following him already, I think I'm giving you 1 minute. You don't need to ask for any link to him. Just type Dr. Igbola Jobi on your browser, any search engine you have there right now, and you'll be connected to him. And I think the cheapest for you to get to right about now is LinkedIn. So right about now, I'm giving just 1 minute. You should just go out there now and get connected to him. But if whatever, I don't know, if he's trying to be generous, maybe Doctor, you want to share the link to connect to you also, we'll also gladly take that. Of course, I can assure you that we at our end, we will be willing to share the profile. But since you're here, it may still be another opportunity to connect directly. So, and yeah, I realized that while that was ongoing, someone else was also asking for the presentation. Okay, well, I'm sure that that may not be. Yes, he just dropped the X Connect with you right now. So, X users, you want to jump on that right away and connect with him. And yeah, but beyond that, I realized that many of us have been asking questions, while the section was ongoing. Majority of the questions that you've been asking, many of the answers are right there on Scholarship Cafe. So we'll just be picking like three questions, which I feel are just some kind of unique questions here this evening. And I realized someone also asked the other time that can he give like a CV template for us to adopt. Well, I think to answer that, you're asking that because you're not connected to him on LinkedIn. I think just about 3 days ago, he still shared his done CV template like that, which which has been, almost everywhere. And I think I can assure you that I'm going to share that with you. Of course, the Eton CV is one that I use as a guide myself. I didn't know I would have the opportunity to tell him this directly, but I think I'd adopted that CV template since sometimes last year, and I could say that has, it has worked. It has worked. When I saw the recent copy that you posted 2 days ago, I was like, oh, this CV has changed from what I used last time.
That's not even the most recent. The most recent is not online, really.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you very much. I'm going to be sharing that template with the community much later after the section on your permission anyway, sir.
Sure, go ahead, please. It's in the free space.
Okay.
It's in the open space.
Oh, great. Thank you very much for that. So I think the questions that we'll be taking now, we'll just take like three questions. We have some persons joining us on YouTube. So maybe we'll just be taking like 2 questions on YouTube, and we'll also be taking like 2 questions from the participants who are live here with us on the Zoom room. So I think someone from okay. I'm trying to pick some questions which I know. Okay, so okay, yeah, I think I'll take this Gideon's question. Gideon says that if there are so many scholarship opportunities, how come there are still some people who japa and still find it difficult to keep up with their institution's tuition and general living expense? He's speaking personally about a relative facing a financial trouble in Canada and a friend who also just arrived in the US, I think.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. He had answered that. The phrase Japa has answered that because at Scholarships Cafe, I hardly talk about Japa. And if you had listened to the conversation I've had today, if those people had put into practice the strategies I've mentioned, they wouldn't have maybe. Okay, this is on YouTube. I don't want to mention that. Yeah, like, off record, like I don't want to mention things like maybe someone did in the UK. Like people think when they come to Canada or the UK or the US, they can work and study. It doesn't work like that. You have to be clear on the reality that is happening in the system. I just mentioned that if you want to come to Canada to study, $15,000 for tuition, 20,653 for proof of fund, and then you come to Canada, you don't have the proof of fund that you promised the visa officer that you have. So it makes no sense. So if you think about everything I've said today, how many people can decide to put these things into practice? Like writing an academic CV, making sure you have the right research experience, writing your statement of purpose that you might need to write. I've seen people that yesterday I was preparing for a fellowship in the US and I had to write my personal statement and I dumped it in my Google Doc that, okay, every day, if I have a new achievement, I will begin to edit it with time. So applying for scholarship is not just something you wake up today and the application is closing tomorrow and then you want to drop the application and you think they will call you. There are so many people that are waiting for that scholarship a year before. I know people from Federal University of Technology, Akure, that they've started preparing for the scholarship journey right from their 200 level. And they know the specific scholarship they're applying for. So that your friend arrived in the US or Canada, it doesn't mean your friend got a scholarship to come to Canada or the US. Or perhaps they got 25% scholarship and they said, oh, when I come here, because of an agent has already cooked a story for them that when you come here, right from the you will get scholarships. It doesn't work like that. So before you say yes to any admission, or before you come and reach out to me to say, Dr. Miwa Gbalajobi, I got an admission in the UK. You can get an admission in the UK within 24 hours. That is not difficult. Or you get an admission in Canada and you think you can get external scholarship that will sponsor you. There is no way. All the scholarships, they look for exceptional students. All the scholarships, they have their selection criteria, which I have listed today. So some of your friends will jump and say, okay, I'm going to those countries. When I get there, I can work and study. And that might be the issue. So what we're trying to do at Scholarships Cafe is to ensure that no one can complain there is no scholarship information available. And just like I've done here today, our master classes, we have about 160 slides within 3 days that we treat scholarships and every strategies that you need to get scholarships. So I'm so sorry for your friends. It's quite a sad journey because here, it is very important that you have the right funds to pre-study, and even people that even still get scholarships to come to these countries, some of them still have spouses that support them on the other side of it. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that answer, Dr. Barajabi. And Sheku from Sierra Leone is asking that what are the benefits of Commonwealth Distance Learning Scholarship? Does it include a stipend or provide funds for computer and related expenses? I guess it just wants to have information about the Commonwealth Distance.
Yeah, the Commonwealth Distance. Yeah, Commonwealth Distance Learning Scholarship. One of my eldest, my immediate elder sister got that. It doesn't provide you with stipends. They are covering your tuition to take your scholarship in your own country. So they provide with every support. Your tuition is covered in the UK, library and every other thing, but they don't provide you with stipend. You have to be in your own country, and that is why it's called distance learning.
Yeah. Abdulkadir Skolawale is asking, he said he's been following you for about a year now, and he really wants to know about your mentorship program. What is expected to be a mentee?
Anyway, mentee is a big word. It's a buzzword we all use out there. And everybody wants to be Dr. Miwa's mentee. And then when they get a scholarship, you don't see them again. We offer different mentorship programs that you can check on our platforms or third party. You can DM Scholarships Cafe. Most of the opportunities we offer now are paid versions because we realize we've had events like this. The institutions organized, 190 people registered, only 2 people showed up. So, but I've also realized that when people invest maybe a little amount of money, they get to show up even 1 hour before the time. So if you want any mentorship, like again, I do say I've also contributed to the life of so many people that they didn't even have the platform to talk to me like this here today. And they used every of those over 62 videos on YouTube. That it is pretty clear the way I've addressed some of the points here today. And all you need to do is to just wrap your head around it, do everything you want to do and get those scholarships. And I keep saying it, and I made mention of this today on LinkedIn. You don't need my validation to get scholarships. Anybody in the community that tells you are not a scholarship material, those people are people that are doomsayers. Nobody has the monopoly to tell you. When people reach out to me to say, what are my chances to get in scholarship? I say, I can't decide. Because a whole lot of things goes into scholarship. Biases, the admission committee, the way you address people, maybe you've addressed someone to be a Mr. and the person is not even a Mr. You've taught every person in the world is a male person. A professor is always a male person. So there are biases that goes into this. Your grades goes into this. Your publications goes. I'm currently mentoring someone that when I saw his publication, it were 80 publications. I was like, what? A master's student applying for PhD. He has over 50 publications in review. So there are so many things that goes into this. And if you want to be my mentee, indirectly, you're already my mentee. Like you've listened to me here today. You've been following me for like, over a couple of months. If you have used all the resources I've put out there for you, I don't think you want to be in my main mentorship group that I have to meet you every month. So yeah, but if you now consider that otherwise, you can join the masterclass and then we have a closed mentorship group for that.
Great, great, great. So I want to believe that that has been, well answered and the person is cleared. Um, yeah, I think this person is asking that when talking about references, you mentioned using your lecturers who can attest to your academic strength. So the person is trying to know that for people who studied in an ODL environment and you don't have contact with the lecturers, how do they go about it?
I'm not sure I understand what an ODL is. Oh, is it distant learning?
I want to believe that should be the case, but even if it is distance learning, they
Even
do
if
have
it's distant learning, exactly. So I think the problem is also relationships. Yeah. Even for people that are not your professors, you need. I mean, you can't leave school 10 years ago and you have nothing to do with these people because. And I tell undergraduate student, current undergraduate student, choose your battles wisely. Anybody watching on YouTube, any other platform, you need these people to give you a reference letter. Nobody will believe someone that hasn't taught you or hasn't supervised you. And that is why I said, even you having a friend that is already a lecturer and you're going back to that person, the first thing on the reference letter must talk about the relationship that they have with you. So you need those references. If you're requested to submit 3 references, you need at least 2 from academia and 1 from your professional body. I've seen people that got the 3 from professional body, depending on the department. But when it comes to a research-based master's and PhD, the best set of people that can comment on your research experience and your fitness for research and grad school, they are your lecturers. So any way you can find them, write them, visit them, call them. Please ensure you do that.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you very much, Dr. Balajobi. And I guess that would be like the last question we are taking here this evening. As of course, in fact, really, I do not know, we'll spend about 1 hour, 30 minutes here. The discussion just keeps going and it's so smooth. So, I want to just quickly remind and motivate everyone on the call this evening with a few lines from today's section. Doctor mentioned that if you have a dream that is not scary, I think it's better to sleep again. So that maybe when you wake up, you have it so big within your, in your head. And I think another thing there is that nobody is going to give you the opportunity to go party abroad. So you should know that whenever you crave abroad, you should be ready to put in the work for that. And I'm very, very sure that beyond those 2 words, you've definitely been, motivated this evening, especially when it tells you that no one has the right to tell you that you're not scholarship worthy. Everyone has that potential within them and everyone can always get it. So yeah, I don't just know, Doctor, maybe before you go, there's a key takeaway you want us to leave here with today, just maybe a final, insight like that before we're out of here, sir.
Thank you so much. Have just a couple of minutes left. We're having another X space and 30 minutes. I just want to encourage you all, make use of the opportunities available. Like I mentioned, no one can complain they don't have access to information anymore. The question is even like information overload. Do not underestimate yourself. If you realize you have some limitations, like some of the things I've mentioned here today, find a way to improve on those skill sets. Put in the application. I remember mentoring someone, and a couple of days ago, she told me she won the KDI scholarship in South Korea for public policy, and this was our second time of applying, and she didn't even change anything in the essay. So, put in the best of your efforts forward, let the system decide, and trust God in the process. And like I said, Scholarships Cafe is everywhere to support you on TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. We want to support you, but if we would support you, the question is, have you explored the resources that we have? So I wish you all the best, and I can't wait to celebrate you all. Feel free to engage me on Twitter or any other platforms, and I look forward to your success story. And thank you so much for having me, Maiwa. It's been an honor, and thank you so much for the amazing job you do as well. And may you be celebrated as well.
Thank you very much, Doctor. And on behalf of the leadership of AIIDEV Africa, we are saying a big thanks to you for your time, for your commitment, for the resources and the energy with which you have served each and everyone on this section this evening. I can trust that we are all living here different from how we came on this section. I'm very sure for some of us that joined this section today, not knowing what to expect, they are living here with a purpose. And I think that is one thing that comes through with having you on the call every and any other day. So thank you very much for always coming through. We so much value you, and we would always love to have you again, next time.
Sure.
I hope knock on your door is always open to us.
Yeah, why not? Thank you.
Thank
Have
you
an
very
amazing
much.
evening, everyone. Bye.
And you too. Thank you very much, sir. Bye for now, sir. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, what do you feel like now? What do you feel like? I didn't know. I was expecting that while Doctor was giving the final insights, it's readily filling up the charts, your thanks, your appreciation, or did you not gain anything here this evening? I felt different, so much excitement. Well, you could have made the doctor know that so that he'd understand that it has been a great job on the call this evening. But anyway, it's still a great one, and I hope that in the coming weeks, this motivates you to put in more effort into anything that you are doing. And something came true for me while he was speaking. He mentioned that whatever you're doing, even in that your little space, you do well to mention about it. When you're not talking about yourself, it may be difficult for people to talk about because they won't even know what they want to talk about you. So whatever little that you're laying your hands on, the social media space is there. You remember what I mentioned about, introverts, right? So I guess we want to pick up a lesson there and not pick an offense. So on this note, I guess this is what we'll be calling it a day for today's section. Of course, follow up with all the instructions that we have sent to you in your emails. I trust that your weekly sections are going on, the chat you're having with the videos that you're watching, your interaction on your project group, and of course, I want to assure you, keep an eye on opportunities out there. And yes, for those of you that are asking for the presentation, AIIDEV Africa YouTube is a school on its own. It's an open resource. You go there any other time, you can always get whatever you want. This section, you can put it on replay, watch again and again and again and again until you're very satisfied. There's a particular point I want you to go and pay attention to. In just 1 minute, there was a place where doctor mentioned is motivation. And I can assure you that with that 1 minute motivation, no one is going to deny him that opportunity is looking for. I want you to pay attention and watch this section. And until the next time that we are meeting again, I wish you all the very best. I say you keep on shining, keep on flying, get motivated, and of course, till we celebrate you, would always be here. I say greetings to you all on behalf of AIIDEV Africa, and we'll get to meet again. Bye for now, everyone.